Hello and good evening, everyone. I am Mansi Khanikar, working in the Investor Education Department of NISM. NISM is the capacity building initiative of SEBI. We at NISM conduct a wide range of activities at various levels with the objective of improving quality standards in the securities markets. At NISM, we work in 5 broad areas: long and short term academic programs, certifications for market intermediaries, e learning programs, training programs for working professionals and academia, and various investor education initiatives. Today's webinar topic is Safeguarding Your Wealth in Cyber Age, a practical guide to digital hygiene for modern investors. So, for this, we have with us Dr. Nareshkumar Harale, Senior Vice President and Head of Information Security at State Bank of India, leading enterprise cybersecurity, privacy and resilience initiatives, previously vertical head and CISO at Ribbit, securing RBI's digital infrastructure, known for driving advanced security frameworks, AI-driven risk management, and future-ready cyber strategies. He brings in strong expertise in regulatory compliance, critical infrastructure protection, and data security operations, focused on building scalable, trusted, and resilient digital ecosystems, passionate about aligning cybersecurity innovation with business and national institutional goals. Now I request Harale sir to begin with the session.
So once again, thank you so much, Mansi and Rasmeet and the entire SEBI team for inviting me for this key webinar, which was planned on the topic Safeguarding Your Wealth in Cyber Age, a practical guide to digital hygiene for modern investors. It's a very interesting topic and is very close to everyone's hearts. I think this is very important for all of us to know about this topic, especially the investors and the brokers, especially the peoples who are closely working with the regulated market of SEBI and the surroundings. So, breath line is about be an aware investor, be an smart investor. This is typically the need of time, right? So, this is at a high level agenda which I have, brought out for all of you. So, initially we'll discuss about background and context. Then second, common scams and case studies, and general, we'll just try to touch base the major scams, major issues in the digital landscape. And then what are the safe digital practices for investors and brokers, regulatory safeguard and reporting, some key takeaways, and then we'll go for the question and answer session. Perfect. So to start with, I think due to the transformation, various government initiatives, Digital India and so on. So Digital India is growing beyond the expectations. It's initiated in 2015, expanded in 2023 and so on. There are major drivers for, this expansion, which includes your primary, the usage of internet connectivity, the BharatNet switch connecting to the rural India, then 5G explosion, then a digital economy is typically the application driven economy in the today's world, and so on. So those were the drivers, and because of that, in last 5 to 10 years, you have seen that the tremendous increase in the cyber crime and cyber frauds, which are linked to the investors, brokers, and the financial organizations. So in 2025, fraud involved into a systemic global economic threat. It's a very organized crime. It is nowadays, it is a targeted crime. So hence it is now we are calling it as a systemic global economic threat with cyber enabled crimes and money laundering causing losses. And significant percentage is contributing to our significant percentage of global and national GDP. It's a very interesting point. Beyond that, we are also seeing the immersion of AI technologies and the emerging technologies. Your quantum is on, or radar and so on. So AI acceleration is primarily focusing on the deepfake identity fraud attempts. So 30%, 230% of year-on-year increase are in early 2025. It is again the approximate numbers. You'll find different numbers at the different places, but in short, what we are trying to say that so we are in a digital economy where the financial frauds are increasing, and the frauds are now enabled with the technology evolutions like the AI and the deepfake, right? So rise of AI significantly enhanced the speed and sophistication of the kind of cyber. So earlier we should take more time. Now it becomes very easier because the technology, which is on the radar, called AI, is positive as well as negative. So it means that the people who are defending is also using, and the people who are offending also trying to use the same technologies. So making traditional detection methods or security controls, strategic controls, administrative controls, tactical controls, so all kind of controls are becoming insufficient in some way. So we'll also talk about the global fraud statistics and the impact. So total cost of cybercrime is almost reach beyond 10.5 trillion annually by 2020. So it's already crossed. The scam losses, consumer worldwide lost almost $442 billion to scams in 12 months preceding the 2025. Now, what are the top trends? I'm sure everyone is aware. Phishing and social link, these are the top driving threats, specifically, the SEBI ecosystem, the financial ecosystems around the frauds, brokers, and investor. So phishing and social engineering are the primary entry points. Almost 57% of organization face on daily or weekly kind of attempts for these activities. And third part of it is the ransomware. And various investment scams drive the highest financial losses. So typically, this is the summary. Before we get into the kind of discussions, we all should know that how to tackle the cyber crimes, cyber frauds, which is completely evolving. It is supported by technology. Then what is cybersecurity? How cybersecurity is protecting us, supporting in the safety, safeguarding the wealth of our investors and brokers in the SEBI ecosystem. So it's a technology or something else? That's a very basic questions to all of you. So common belief that it is a matter of advanced technology. Everybody think that it's a technology, but end of day, if you understand the concept and the concepts and the context of cybersecurity is beyond technology. So it matters, a process and procedural matters, and maintaining cybersecurity hygiene is an important, crucial aspect of the cybersecurity. So it means that just like we use the toothpaste and on daily activities, we spend some amount of time we dedicate to our personal hygiene. Similarly, we have to also give some dedicated time for our cybersecurity hygiene. If you don't do that, probably we fall prey to the various kind of cyber frauds and cyber crimes related activities. So evolution of internet frauds, modern phishing techniques, so fake emails, impersonating banks, impersonating financial and insurance organization, impersonating family and close friends by cloning them. So these are the typical modern phishing techniques being also adopted. So before we start, we need to understand the psychology of fraud. So what is the psychology of frauds? If you precisely understand the psychology of frauds, is nothing but lack of or low awareness of the online frauds. It means we are so much ingress in our daily activities, our operational activities, or routine activities, and we keep doing our activities, and we also do the financial transactions as a part of process, right? So routinely we do all these activities, and we don't keep our sync with the market trends, what is happening in the market. Hardly, I mean, people when somebody goes beyond the timeline, and they fall prey to the kind of digital arrest, investment scams, and so on, then we come to know that there is something called investment scams, digital arrest, or phishing campaigns, right? So unauthorized softwares, that I mean APKs, and so on, merging calls. So many things are happening. So these are the trends basically. So purpose of understanding the psychology of fraud is that the we need to understand the trends. We should be well aware about the online frauds. So how they're manipulating the emotional aspect of it, emotional quotient of it, and creating the sense of threat for the activity. And the third is a hope for quick for profit or the desire to protect someone's assets. So typically this is another parameter because everyone wants to earn money faster. Investing in the Ponzi kind of schemes without knowing more about it is very important. We should be well aware about that. To protect your wealth because you're earning your penny by doing so much hard work and efforts, and saving money, and your saving goes to the hackers hands is not a good thing. So we should be very much cognizant about the kind of issues and the kind of awareness of the online frauds. So we understand that there is a digital shift. Everybody wants to go a digital way, right? Understanding that while technology make investing easier, it also opens new doors for the bad actors, right? The technology is also used by the good actors and the bad actors, right? So same technology, and the bad actors are ahead of the kind of crowd. So we should be very cautious, and we should be aware about the facts of the frauds, modus operandi, and so on. So real world examples of phishing, so we'll discuss about investment scam and social engineering. So we'll some of the references for why there is a need of understanding the cyber frauds, why there is a need of understand the various security controls, how investing, I mean the MII and the SEBI ecosystem is trying to protect the interest of customers, their consumers, right? And while keeping the tight compliant, keeping the cyber security framework and so on, so that the entire the ecosystem is protected. So having said that, India is approximately common. Yeah. So India is approximately 650. This is again approximately number I'm taking from references. 658 million internet user. Approximately, that's a number, making it the world's second largest internet population. As I said in my starting remark, we are driving by Digital India initiative. So almost the internet connectivity is one of the driving force for the adoption and penetration of the kind of ecosystem, digital ecosystem. Cyber crime expected to skyrocket in the coming years. Of course, it's already rocketed and keep skyrocketing in the near future as well. So we should also understand the kind of trends, right? So this particular graph. We'll look at the first one. It's taken from India Today. If you look at the banking and financial service, the prime target, right? Then after that, there is a second level of target is the retail and the e-commerce, industry. And third is the government services and the other sectors. So banking and financial service is always because the money is directly involved in the process, and they get faster money. So they always try to target the people, consumers, where they can get more money. They can pull more money in a shorter time of span. Yeah. The third point is about cyber fraud losses income. This is one of the example. Again, the recent example, cross 87 crore in 2025 with recovery below 10%. So I'm trying to say that proactive is always better than reactive. It means that once you fall to the kind of cyber crimes or cyber frauds, and you lose your money in the process, and getting the money back is not an easy process. I'm not saying that is impossible. So the law enforcement is there, the police, the cyber law is there, cyber police is there, the regulatory ecosystem is there, banking ecosystem is also there, but returning money rate is almost less than 10%. It means that we should be well aware about the kind of modus operandi and the kind of fraudulent activities happening in the online age, right? Digital age. That's the say. So what is cyber fraud? It's typically a kind of cyber crime that aims to steal money from an entity or an individual. So it involves using online solutions. It's typically the internet-based applications and platform to commit the fraud. So why we discuss about the hygiene, right? Just like the personal hygiene, we should also look at the cyber hygiene or digital hygiene part of it. So importance of digital hygiene for investor. So these are again the high level areas. You can also think beyond this. So primarily, we are in an application economy. So you are using the smartphones. Your smartphone is completely loaded with lot of financial transactional kind of applications. They're talking to marketplaces. You're visiting a lot of e-commerce site. You're freely moving in the digital world with the help of your smartphone. So it is very important to have those, complex passwords, secure password. This is one of the primary requirement as a part of digital hygiene, right? If you look at the enterprise level policies, they normally change the passwords on 6 monthly basis. They keep the combination of special letters, the numbers, special letters, your alphabet, small caps, all those kind of combination. But you also think beyond that. You can think about passphrase instead of just a password, right? So which will be easier for you to keep in mind. It will be difficult to crack for the unauthorized people, right? So secure password. Again, passwords is not sufficient, because if it is compromised, yes, your digital ecosystem for you will be compromised. So you should have a two-factor authentications, which will for all financial, especially wherever transaction is involved, wherever financial activities are involved, that significantly reduce unauthorized access risk, because something something you'll get. So kind of ecosystem and framework you'll have to adopt. Regular software update is again very simple, looks simple, but we always try to extend the updates, right? The moment we get the notification for update of security patches for your operating system on your laptop, desktop, gadgets, mobile phone. So you have to always see that your software stack, your technology stack is up to the mark, up to date, right? Schedule automatic updates for all the devices to safeguard against vulnerability exploited by cyber criminals. You have to also see that only authorized applications are running within your ecosystem, within your gadgets and devices. Wherever required, wherever possible, please use your the public PK kind of infrastructure. Utilize encryption tools for sensitive financial data, your personal identifiable information. Now DPDP is already come to the mark, of action. So it is very important for the organization as well as the consumers to protect their data for personal safety and privacy. Again, some of the numbers, right? So in India, if you look at the numbers, cyber fraud losses in India are projected to cross 1.2 lakh crore, which is the 14 to 15 billion dollar in 22. So in short, what I am trying to say that almost 0.7% of India's GDP, which is getting lost in the cyber fraud, right? We are losing almost 70.75 percentage of your India's GDP amount in the process of cyber fraud losses. In US, again, remains the highest cost country for cyber attacks. So consistent and the sophisticated, advanced activities linked to the cyber frauds is happening. So with average breach cost reaching to $10.22 million in 2025, hosting 59% of reported global victims. Healthcare is another area. So we will not get into the discussion about the healthcare and the other areas, but typically I'm trying to say that, it's not an excuse to protect our wealth from the fraudsters. So fraudsters are around us. Please don't take any chance, allow them to enter into your protected zone, right? So financial services average breach cost are approximately 6.08 million, with 61% of incidents in the Middle East and Africa region targeting these sectors, which is again the number. So we discuss about some numbers. Overall global GDP is approximately $117. Out of it, approximately $3.5 trillion are lost in the world. So we talk about 0.7% of India GDP is considered. Here we are trying to give the number in terms of the overall GDP of global GDP, and out of that 3.5 trillion dollars are lost in the fraud. So US is 40% of $40 trillion. So it is basically economic numbers. I'm just trying to put it. So coming back to the important points, we need to a kind of financial fraud trends, right? So pig butchering pivots is one of the activities. So this is something related to the synthetic identities. So we are in a digital world, and every entity, every the person, every system is identified with the help of digital identity, and in the process lot of synthetic identities are getting created by the fraudsters, and that is something called as the big butchering. So you should be well aware about the kind of the synthetic identities. We will talk a little bit downside what how it is important for us, because somebody is creating your, so earlier digital twin is used, now people are cloning the voice, they're cloning the they are creating the fake deep fake videos, which is almost difficult to detect by the normal technology infrastructure, right? So account takeover search, which is almost with stolen credentials involved in 22% of breaches. It means your credentials are at risk, and almost 20%, 22% of breaches happen because of account takeover kind of search, which is already risen. Regulatory crackdown, this is typically we are here, actually I'm just pointing out, maybe I can use some, but in we are here. So regulatory crackdown. So the UK's Economic Crime and the Corporate Transparency Act, which is effective by September, which actually already in place since September 2025, and similar global measures have been adopted by the various countries. Country-specific measures also enables, right? So typically increasing liability for firms that fails to prevent the fraud. So what I am trying to say that obviously regulators like SEBI, they're always keeping the close watch on the fraudsters, right? Kind of modus operandi, and they keep sending a lot of awareness communication. They are ensuring that through the NISMs, through this kind of webinars, they are trying to share the latest update modus operandi of various kind of cyber fraud. So, and in the process, regulatory is enforcing a lot of tight controls on the firms for regulated by the organizations, regulators. So mule account is the another typically the area in India. I4C identifies approximately 4,000 mule accounts per on daily basis. This is an interesting fact, right? It is again maybe the number which will be here and there, but it is beyond this number. So on daily basis, which clearly shows that there is the mule accounts are getting created and misuse on a larger scale for money laundering and so on. So key statistic, what are the implications? So because of these issues, what are the various implications? So one is investment in defense is increased. Since regulators are behind the regulated entities, they have to ensure, they have to put the cybersecurity framework, they have to put strategic, tactical, and administrative controls, sufficient controls. They have to drive social, the awareness programs for the investors, brokers, and the MI. They use MI also in collaboration with SEBI. They drive the awareness programs and so on. So that is indirectly, driving the spending on information security, which is already increased. That is the one implication. Second is AI is already here. We don't know whether it is a good news or a bad news. Obviously, it is totally, up to us, to the organizations, how they are adopting AI as a technology, AI as an emerging technology for the benefit of, implementing cyber defenses and so on, or how we can use it for predicting proactively the kind of security concerns. So while criminals use AI to create scams, firms using AI for defense detect breaches. So because of that, some improvement, we have seen that almost 80 days faster we are able to detect the breaches, right? And save almost $1.5 million per incident. This is again the number. It clearly indicates that yes, AI is there. Bad actors are also using AI, but if you use AI for security defenses, probably we could save the detection rate, or we can detect the breaches in the early stage of breach. Another important aspect is the DII, which is, I'm just coining this particular term, DII. Just like the cyber threat intelligence, CTI, so there is something called as a digital intelligence, right? Digital identity intelligence. Now, what is happening in the cyber landscape? A lot of attacks are happening across the globe, and the information is collected by the security organizations, security companies, government organizations, and they distribute the kind of AOI, um, and the IOA kind of activities, indicator of compromise, IOCs, similar to that. So there will be a next thing required, the platform which are driving the digital identity intelligence. So by 2029, almost 30% of digital identities will be held in the wallet. So there is a huge demand for digital identity vaults, in the coming future, to combat with the digital identity thefts, account takeover, search, and all kind of things. Now, empowering investors through technology innovation. So typically, I have mentioned, I just try to showcase one image where it's specifically written that only download apps from the legitimate app stores, not from third-party links or APK. SEBI is leveraging AI and digital tools to protect retail investors from the fraud and streamline market entry. So we will see there are a couple of important slides I brought out, to all of you. Something important. Uh, these are some of the technology innovations driven by SEBI. SEBI Sudarshan AI system, which is already launched. You can use it. SEBI check tool, we will look at those. Is recently launched by the SEBI for checking the authenticity of UPI ID, UPI accounts linked to it. We can very well confirm that whether your transaction are happening with the registered regulated entities or not. So that all information is available. So third kind of tool is past risk and return verification agency. This is a new agency providing investors with verified historical performance data of intermediaries and helping steer them away from unreliable influencers. So this is typically again the helpful step taken up by SEBI for all of you. So this is important. You'll have to use it. Fourth important technology infrastructure, which is streamline the re-KYC processes, where key repository agencies now only need to retain updated records, reducing redundant paperwork for retail clients and NRIs. Very interesting. I think that's so. I was talking about SEBI check tool, so which is recently launched. I think this typically three important aspects of this particular checker. So you can visit the SEBI website, and typically you see the SEBI check. You'll find in the triangle with the thumbs up. If you click it, probably will take it to the kind of links where you can check the entities registers for SEBI through NPCI. They will be having specific codes. Their IDs are started with the broker, will be started with BRK, and MF is for the mutual fund. So these are the registers entities with the NPCI. NPCI has given exclusive handle valid handle issued by NPCI for brokers and MF entities. So the benefit of it is in the interest of consumer and investors and brokers. So assure security, fraud prevention, and safe payment routing, and it will increase the transparency, trust among the consumer, broker, and the consumer mutual fund entities. So that's an interesting fact. So you should look at that. This is another I just put up in the slide. So role of AI in future finance, we'll just try to touch base. Is not very important, but yes, somewhere it is linked to it. Four factors. If you look at the AI, of course, AI is a good news. And for us, it's a bad news if fraudsters are using AI for snatching your wealth from you. So you have to protect yourself from this kind of fraudsters using the AI for creating the deepfakes, creating the very customized emails, phishing emails, and so on. So it's improving at an unprecedented rate. So of course, uh, the purpose of saying it that if you look at the kind of image clarity or the kind of deepfake clarity is also improving. It is also useful for the KYC activities, video KYC, and so on. But at the same time, if somebody is creating for the deepfake, it's not a good news. It is easy to use, unlike blockchain, Web3, and a metaverse application. It does not require behavior change to adopt. Another important aspect of his minimal coding is required. Low code, no code kind of ecosystem is available. So language of AI is the human language, making it intuitive to operate. So a very interesting fact. Unlimited potential. Industry changing use cases are surfacing every day. So we have to use for the better cause of AI. Right. So this is a generative AI in a financial services market is going to grow, cloud-based and on-premises. So typically, most of the GenAI initiatives are ASI or SPI kind of initiatives. They are driven from the cloud. If tomorrow something goes wrong with the cloud, so definitely there is a risk. But a lot of security controls, compliance mandate, SEBI has enforced for the organizations who are using the cloud for using the financial, using the GenAI to improve the financial services for SEBI ecosystem. So this is the short summary about it. We will discuss about major scams related to investors and brokers. Um, some of the important points I just try to bring to your notice. All of you can just, if you quickly refer these pointers, will understand. So fake trading apps posing a registered broker or exchanges is one of the scam which is happening. Impersonation of CBO register entity official sending the false notices, which will be more attractive for the people who are not aware about the modus of operandi and so on. So they should be very very cautious while understanding or responding to those kind of notification and the notices. Pump and dump schemes, Ponzi schemes are around us. We should be a smart investor. We should be a smart broker, so that only the authorized brokers, authorized investors will get a chance to use these schemes. So you have to avoid Ponzi scheme using participating in the Ponzi schemes, which is a little bit dangerous. Not little bit, is very much dangerous. So you should be very cautious about it. So insider manipulations, front running, these are the topics linked to the pump and dump schemes. Fake advisory or subscription model, promising guaranteed returns. So almost every registered entity, including NSE, all kind of stock exchanges, MI, especially the MI, they drive awareness programs. Please follow that. It will be easier for you to if you are running your business under MI, you should also follow their contextual awareness programs, which will help us to save yourself from the cyber frauds, right? Investment scams and so on. Misuse of terms like FPI, FI, promising direct overseas access, then algorithmic trading misuse by unregistered providers. And that's where whenever you are doing the this particular thing, we already discussed about it. See the authorized entities, the mutual fund entities, brokers, they are given a space. There's a special handle by the NPCI. So I think you should look at it. It's very useful. And once you do the payments, you will get the successful thumbs up in the triangle. There is a special, there are very special videos available in the internet. Please go through it. And you should also see that you are not seeing the videos which are posted by the unauthorized people, unauthorized entities, right? You should strictly follow the your MII and the SEBI instructions. So SEBI is also driving the SEBI versus scam campaign. So it's almost started 2025 along with the MII. We talk about it in July 2025. SEBI, in partnership with market infrastructure institutions such as NSE, BSE, CDSL, NSDL, and industry bodies like MFI, launch a media campaign called SEBI versus scam. So it is typically to bring the sufficient, adequate awareness about frauds in security market. So this is the prime objective. This was a prime objective of this initiative, and is very much successful. And people are well aware about the kind of the fraud schemes, your next generation kind of issues, cyber frauds, modus of operandi, and so on. So please keep closely follow those awareness programs, your creatives, right, comics, and so on. So that will be more useful for you. So these are the four important aspects, objectives of the campaign. Again, so primary objective, as I said, they're more focus on educating investors on red flags. Too good to be true premises is more about impersonation. So they're driving a lot of creatives and awareness around impersonation. Somebody is calling on behalf of SEBI, somebody is calling on behalf of registered SEBI entities, and so on. So you should be very, very, cautious responding to those kind of communications. So we are in a digital world. We are in a zero trust world. So definitely we are here. We want the smart investors. We want smart consumers who are operating or participating in the SEBI ecosystem, right? Second is more about encouraging verification protocols, like which we have seen SEBI Check is one of the initiative towards its how to check, validate the correct UPI IDs, correct brokers, right? Entities, mutual fund entities, and so on. So it is very proactive program campaign SEBI is driving in the interest of safeguarding their wealth in the era of cyber age and the digital age. So promoting the use of scores and official grievance mechanism, which is typically again another initiative by SEBI, and they're continuously advancing safe digital hygiene practices as a part of campaign. So you can always refer that. We'll also try to touch base the cyber fraud and okay, so coming back to the point, the next slide is around the landscape of cyber fraud and cyber crime for India 2025. These are some of the key numbers again around this year's data which we have taken. So as everybody knows, your phishing campaign to deepfake is completely driven by AI powered fraudsters platforms, right? Cybercrime in India has reached alarming level in 2025, both in sophistication and financial impact. Sophistication in terms of very difficult to detect those differences, those specific modus of operandi with the help of current digital security infrastructure, and that is leading to a huge financial impact. So some of the numbers to indicate highlights from this year's data: almost 2000 plus crore lost to digital arrest scams, 4,636 crore duped via investment fraud and peak butchering kind of activities, 9,000 crore projected loss due to fake apps and brand impersonation. 56% of fraud involves UPI and QR code. Because of digital India, everybody is driving digital transactions, right? So after demonetization in 2016, so there was a push happened to the digital transactions, and NPCI has done a fantastic job. So while looking, because every coin has two sides of it, so we have to always look at both sides and understand the plus and minus and implications of it. So while giving the empowerment for the consumers, doing the transactions at ease with the help of digital platform. So frauds are also increasing around it. So almost 56% of fraud involves UPI and QR. Is astonishing kind of figures, right? And we should be very careful because uh, we don't carry wallet nowadays. We don't carry money with us. So almost every transactions day starts with it and day ends with it. We either use digital wallets or online pay, GPay, phone pay, all kind of pays which is typically using the UPI ID and QR codes. So we'll have to be very very cautious, and diligent in terms of using these technologies. So 16,000 plus incidents of phishing and smishing. This is again the interesting fact. So these scams exploits what they're exploiting: fear, urgency, trust. They're targeting everyone from average citizens to senior officials, including the CXOs. Right. So these are the some of the facts I just try to put forward so that you will be mindful while using these transactions in the SEBI ecosystem. So you have to always use the technology infrastructure, awareness campaigns provided by the digital ecosystem, and the while safeguarding your wealth in the digital world. So India's top 10 cyber scam types reported in 2025. We have gone through it, but still just quickly glance through it. Digital arrest scam, investment and big butchering scams, brand impersonation and fake apps, UPI and QR code frauds, online loan apps, fake job and scholarship scams, phishing and smishing, voice and SMS phishing, tech support and remote access scams, romance and sextortion scams, social media and fake. So these are the top 10, and which is also somewhere driving your investors related scams and frauds in the SEBI ecosystem. Right. So another few examples. Another one of the important aspect of cyber common scam is your APK, application APK fraud, which is typically fraudsters are sending the APK file either through WhatsApp, SMS, social media, masquerading, as a legitimate services like banking update, KYC. They're just trying to create the urgency. They are impersonating coming from the genuine resources and courier deliverables also. So we should be mindful using all this. So post installation, this APK, what APK will do? I mean, definitely they will not, leave you in the peaceful ecosystem. App grants attacker full access to your device, including OTPs, banking passwords, and personal data, enabling unauthorized financial transactions. Right. So that all happens once you download and install within your gadget. How to protect yourself? We said that never download or install any APK file sent through SMS, WhatsApp, even if it looks legitimate. Don't try to do that. Since we are in a zero trust, if you really think that it has come from a valid source, please try to validate the source of this APK files. Right? It's very important. Only install apps from the Google Play Store or any authorized stores, not only the Google Play Stores, but authorized Play Stores. Disable install unknown apps in your phone setting. There is an option. Install a reputable antivirus application as far as possible. So these are the typically the kind of protection guidelines for you. This is something taken from the BSA and SEBI. As I said, the MI also contributing to the campaign to safeguard the interest of consumers in the SEBI ecosystem. So don't fall for apps promising guaranteed returns. So as you know that returns are linked to market risk. So guaranteed returns, I mean, that is impossible kind of communication. If somebody is trying to tell you that, you should always validate the source. You always validate the broker. You always validate the the institutions. Don't download unauthorized apps. Just on ad hoc basis, on random basis, you should not be visiting any kind of app stores or third-party sites and download and install in. So it may lead to a kind of complications. Don't use apps that ask you to make payments to third party accounts, and that's where the checker, the CB checker is going to play important roles. You will come to know that if you have any doubts, right, on the entities, you can always look at their with the help of QR code, with the help of their UPI ID. You can always check their validity, and then it gives a peace of mind and the assurance that yes, your financial transactions are routed through the safe platforms. Do's, three important do's: always verify apps on BSE or any other MIS SEBI website before downloading. That is what I said, trust but verify. It means if you get something, so first you go and visit the your MI websites, your regulator websites, and then you post validation, probably you can download it from again the authorized sources. Independently verify all tips and claims made by any apps. So we are running short of time. So typically these are the common issues and case studies, I would say. So in Mumbai recently, man duped of 3.96 crore WhatsApp equity fraud after falling for high return claims in Thane. If you have time, please read it. So this one example will definitely help you how they are operating, how they are targeting, how they are reaching to you, what social engineering mechanism they are using, right? How they are using smishing, wishing, all kind of options available in the new age of cyber crimes, right? So scams, you should be very, very cautious about the Ponzi investment schemes. Coming back to the safe and digital hygiene practices for the investor, we'll quickly run through and we'll open up a webinar for the question and answer in next couple of minutes, right? So first is, as I said, use strong password and two-factor authentication. Then secure your connection, avoid usage of public Wi-Fi. Never use public Wi-Fi, right? You must have heard about juice jacking, right? Sometimes we connect our phones at the public places for charging. That also is another issue. So your data is at a risk. And especially in Wi-Fi connectivity also, you have to avoid the public Wi-Fi unless it is verified truly, right? It's not just a normal verification, but we should be very, 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 confirm about the specific public Wi-Fi and the source of public Wi-Fi. Keep your apps and systems updated, regular updates. Don't delay, postpone the updates related to your software, application, mobile apps, or system updates, especially the operating system related mobile operating system or laptop. Set up transaction alerts for all your payments. This is very important, right? So once whatever normal abnormal activity is happening linked to your account, you will come to know through this transaction alerts, right? Avoid third party download and check apps permissions. This is another important. Don't avoid using third party downloaded application, as well as also look at the permissions provided to those applications in order to protect your privacy aspect. So in the interest of time, ransomware is another area. So I think we should look at it. So benefit of SEBI security audit and governance. SEBI is enforcing a lot of audit and governance mechanisms so that, security controls used for identification, protection, detection, respond, and recovery, all that happens in the interest of the consumers and the related requirements, right? So 1930, so whenever there is a kind of cyber fraud or somebody is duped you for some amount, there is again helpline NCCRP portal you can use for, or you can dial 1930. And so you also understand the limited liability related to the unauthorized transaction. If you're not following the guidelines of RBI or SEBI time to time, or not understanding, you're not aware, you're not making yourself aware about the online frauds and their modus operandi. So there will be a limited liability from the regulatory perspective. Whom to contact, reaching out to banks, DP, exchange support immediately whenever there is a need. You can quickly. So these are some of the reporting authorities, right? we are running. So we'll open up the forum for question answers. Few takeaways. You're sealed in cyberspace, of course. As I mentioned, you should be in line, intact with the latest way of operating cyber fraud operating entities and the fraudsters. You should also aware about the latest trends. What is digital arrest? What kind of Ponzi schemes? How they're operating? How they're approaching the targets, and so on, is very important. Applying cyber security hygiene practice. We talk about strong password, security updates, unauthorized downloads, and so on. So these are some of the hygiene. Just like we find some time on a daily basis to do our personal hygiene, same way for cyber security hygiene also, you have to spend some quality time keeping your gadget, your digital ecosystem safe and secure. You should be continuously following the training programs and knowledge updates from SEBI, MII, NISM, and so on, so that you'll be well aware about the updates, what is happening in the entity. Rethinking the fraud stack in the age of AI, powered by Bureau. As a fraud stack grows more sophisticated, financial institution must rethink traditional fraud prevention model. So fraud stack has to be again another area of technology infrastructure where the brokers, the mutual funds, and the entities who are operating the SEBI ecosystem, they should be very, very cautious, and they should deploy preventive actions than more emphasis on the preventive, and continuously also run the awareness campaigns to ensure the safety and security of their consumers, their investors, and brokers. So thank you so much. Thank you for the lovely audience here, and thanks for attending. I will open up this webinar for question answers over to SEBI NISM team to take forward the question answer sessions so that we can address the questions.
Yes, sir. Now I request attendees to ask their question in Q&A section so that sir can address those questions. So there are a couple of questions in Q&A section here.
I think I'm not available. Messages are not available with me. If you can help me with that.
Sir, in Q&A, close to the share screen option.
Acha, I'll just.
Yes. Yes, now it will be visible to you.
Yeah, there is one anonymous attendee. What happens to the siphon funds by the fraudsters? Where does that land up? Yes, it's an interesting question. So law enforcement agencies will be able to provide more details around it. But yes, siphon amounts, obviously the mule accounts, the non-operative, the accounts which are not operated by the original operators, they're being misused, and that fund is transferred to multiple accounts, and they get dispersed through the various ATMs across the multiple locations or multiple geography in that matter, right? So that is what is happens in the siphon funds. Is crypto is risky? Obviously, I think there is no specific governance. I would say, at least I am not aware about it. So yes, it is risky because it is a risky proportion. It is totally is not regulated. That's the reason you should be very cautious about mindful using the crypto. What is the actual process of complaint via 1930? I think you have to dial 1930. They will ask more about the issue. You can provide the background to the case, and so from there they will take it forward. There is a question from Gargi Deshpande. So there have been frauds by social media influencers wherein they ask people to invest in a particular mutual fund schemes, stocks, without actually understanding that those might not be suitable for every investors. Is there a crackdown on those? Is it called a fraud? Obviously, these are frauds that they're trying to, trying to mislead the consumers, the investors, and so on. So that's where we should be well aware about being an investor, being a consumer of the SEBI ecosystem. You should be well aware about the modus operandi, and it is a zero trust. You have to uh, verify those schemes whether those are true schemes. Is there any kind of guideline linked to it from the regulators and so on? That you'll have to look at, and then you can confirm whether it is a fraud. So obviously, these are the Ponzi schemes, and Ponzi schemes are the kind of frauds. So we discussed recently, so almost 10 to 20%. That's the kind of range. Once amount is released from your account, is unless you block it by calling to 1930, you will not have any control over the disbursement, right? So they are moving very fastly from one account to another account to the ternary account, and so on. So it is very difficult to control that flow once it cross the border of your banking account ecosystem, control system, right? So you can bring in the law enforcement, cyber police, and all that, but it is very lengthy process. So best thing is you should be proactive in terms of, you should see that you should not fall to those kind of cyber frauds and attacks. Reporting of transaction fraud is not an user-friendly option at 1930. Most of the time they don't pick the call. I think, yeah, you can approach to nearest police station also, because area wise there is a cyber cell established. You can also approach them. It is very much eco-friendly. You can also visit Mahacyber site. This is Maharashtra, especially I'm saying from Maharashtra perspective. There is a Mahacyber similar to 1930. There is another numbers I don't recollect right now. So if you visit Mahacyber websites, you will find a lot of guidelines, how to approach, how to report, that will also provide, that is also provided there. So do mobile application install having bots? Not really. If you're following the valid sources or the important sources for downloading the third-party applications, the mobile applications, you are referring to the authorized stores, then because it goes through a very stringent security checks. Once you're in a specific application, financial application, in the context of SEBI ecosystem, landed there in the app store, it means it is already gone through the security checks. You will not find bots and those kind of activities. But if you are downloading from third party or misleaded websites, probably that lead to a bots having installed on your system, and that will give control to the fraudsters. Yeah. So I think more questions. So I request, if you can connect me also. I have given my mobile number, or you can stay connected. I'll share my coordinates with all of you, so that just I'll push for 1 minute, just a minute. So you can WhatsApp me on the first number, or you can connect on the LinkedIn, or you may get in touch with LinkedIn also, or you can also share these questions to the NISM teams. They will definitely come back with the responses. I'll just try to answer those questions as well. So that's all from my side. I'll stop my share, and thank you so much, Sahil. Over to you.
Yes, thank you so much, sir.